My love for the MMORPG first started back with Final Fantasy XI. Now this is before I heard terms of sandbox and theme park, and well before they were pretty much the most popular genre in the world. However, over the last decade, the MMORPG has fallen from prominence, and its business model has shifted and reshifted time and time again, to where really there's only a handful of top-tier MMORPGs that stand on the market to date. But as we look towards the future and what games are on their way, it's clear that there is a demand for more sandbox-style games. One of those is from Amazon Game Studios, who's also working on a Lord of the Rings MMO as well. 2020 is going to be really interesting, y'all. Anyway, what's up, Workforce? Brian here, and today I want to recap everything that we know about the new sandbox MMORPG New World, and why I went ahead and pre-ordered a copy. Now, to be very, very direct here, gamers should not ever pre-order games. It's too risky, and it only incentivizes the MVP, the minimal viable product model that we've all come to love to hate over the last 10 years. Please wait for reviews or wait for our beta coverage in April. But speaking of which, if you're actually not a member of the Workforce, we do hope you hit that join button, hit that subscribe button for more MMORPG content from us here. But also be sure to let us know in the comments below what you're thinking about New World and MMOs in 2020 and beyond. I really look forward to having those conversations with you. But let's go ahead and dive into why I actually pre-ordered this game and what you can expect from New World. Now, first and foremost, when I look back at my MMO history, 95% of my game time has the words Final Fantasy connected to them. Final Fantasy XI and XIV dominate my time, and I often use these games when I look at others to find out what I enjoy or maybe what I find lacking. Now, that being said, I do remember Final Fantasy XI so fondly that when I do critique 14, it's often for me just wanting more sandbox style content. Where Shadowbringers is perhaps one of the best Final Fantasy games of all time, and hear me out, not the best MMO Final Fantasy of all time, but probably the best Final Fantasy of all time due to its story and its pacing. This is where it excels. It is rich in narrative and it's got a beautiful community. But yet, gamers are still always hungry for more, and I'm no exception to that. So ultimately, I feel like I actually owe it for me to put my money where my mouth is and check out a modern sandbox MMORPG, one that's built around PvP and one that encourages exploration and domination. But here's the catch. As a sandbox, it's only as good as those who actually play it. The player is given the tools, and then it's up to them to make their own fun. Can this even be fun as a parent and as an adult? I'm honestly really curious to find out more. But for everything that's good in this world, don't pre-order. Okay, so I just want to hit that note one last time. I want to spend the rest of this video telling you about this game, so you can let me know if you're interested in learning more about it. But I'm planning on playing this game, and one of the main reasons, one of the biggest draws was the guaranteed beta access starting in April in 2020. I think that essentially made it worth it in and of itself for me personally, but then that's also me speaking as a content creator here on YouTube. Okay, so let's dive in. New World is set on the island of Eternum. Now, this is going to be a battle for power and everlasting life. This island has been around for centuries and centuries and centuries, and many civilizations have come to this island and have succumbed to its power. And so you can kind of see that in the trailer as they're teasing that over time. Now, the ancients that lived here a long time ago have obviously established things. They were running their entire civilization based off of a rich power supply named Azoth. Now, this is the main power source, and it looks like crafters and gatherers, like all of that can be infused into your overall gameplay experience. They do say that magic exists in this game, and there's going to be multiple schools, but it doesn't look like there's actually going to be some kind of mage-type class in of that self. It's all going to be kind of revolved around building out a society. And that's where this game is not, and often confused with, at least as I was doing all my research for this, it is not a survival game. Now, it has a survival game element to it. It has an exploration, and it has a civilization building, it has a domination, it has a PvP. It's got a lot of different things all wrapped up into one, and so that's going to make it questionable how Amazon Game Studios can pull this off, even though they are being led by 15-year-old vets of MMORPG. So there is a lot of power behind the studio. And also Amazon is leveraging its AWS cloud service to really put a lot of players into the world. They're going to start with 500 and they're going to scale from there with the goal of getting it up to 10,000. That is their futuristic goal, to be able to have 10,000 players all interacting on the same server. And that's kind of where combat comes into play. Combat is an action RPG and you have collisions. So you can't actually like stack and stand all in the same spot. You will run into your allies and you will be able to collide with your enemies. But right now, reviews are kind of mixed about the combat system. We'll have to wait and give you more of a hands-on impression of it when we're able to go hands-on with it. But the game focuses kind of around building clans, taking territory, securing that territory, and there's a lot of reasons to do so. Now, you can also go off and be a lone wolf and do your own thing. You can be a criminal, and the game is really going to be that sandbox. It's going to let you be good or be bad, but there's risks that come along with being bad. One of the coolest things about it is that if you die, you're going to drop everything that's not equipped on you. That sucks, right? Death has a harsh penalty. You should not want to die. There is a fear of that. However, if you're a criminal, if you're a murderer, if you're a scoundrel, if you're a scumbag, you can literally lose everything. You'll lose everything. So there isn't, it's not going to be this glamorous life. Like if people want to hunt you down and because of your actions and deeds, they can do so. Anyway, so there is this societal element to it. You want to form a group, you want to have your own territory, you want to sit here and do these things, and you can gather land, you can create these civilizations, and you can tax people, and you can give them actually benefits. Honestly, it's really intriguing to see how this is going to end up playing, in real time, because there are so many different personalities. Like you and me, we're all going to interact with these games in different ways, and some people are going to want to come in and just kind of grief, and they're going to go about their life and do that thing. And so it's going to be neat to see, especially as these different clans and groups meet up and decide how to take territory and ultimately what their goal is to try to tame this wild land. Not only that, not only are you worried about what's going on with other players, but you also have to be wary about the wild and the dangers therein. One of the coolest things is that hordes of monsters actually will try to assault your territory and reclaim it. So there is PvE content as well. What people are really wanting is kind of a decent blend of both large-scale PvP and PvE. And I talked about magic, and one of the things that I'm going to be evaluating this game as a player is that, it looks like the interface is fairly simple and straightforward. I really don't know yet if it will support controller play. I really hope that it does, but it is going to be on PC, Steam for that nature, and you do have to purchase it. It is a buy-to-play game with microtransactions, and we'll talk a little bit more about microtransactions here in a bit. But it also runs off a system that is classless. You're going to specialize your character in any way that you want, and that's going to make up your class. You can do crafting, you can do gathering, you can specialize in just making things and kind of making your own world that way. It's one of the things we haven't really seen excel in modern MMORPGs because everything's kind of gone the World of Warcraft theme park model, even though World of Warcraft really kind of started out more with the idea of a sandbox. So you can kind of see how classic is surging and how people are really kind of refining that there is a sense of community that they want to see. So it's going to be cool. There's no real instances, except it looks like they're doing 150v50 instance when it comes to kind of these guild versus guild wars. I guess that's maybe for how it's going to try to be balanced. And personally, I don't know how I feel about it because I know what they've been trying to do is having this non-instance server-wide world that has this danger and this thrill to it, but also the sense that you can be and do whatever you want in the game. So we'll keep you guys up to date on how this ends up feeling. Now, as far as how gear is acquired, it's going to be crafted. Everything in this game is going to be made. That is something I think personally is really exciting to see, and ultimately will have to be, I don't know, if you really just want to kind of dive into this world and support other players and maybe make a lot of money by doing so, this might be the game for you. So people are going to come to the new world to find riches and to make their wealth. And ultimately, will this be balanced with how modern MMOs work today? We do know that there's going to be people who are going to come in and try to sell gold and try to, overrun and try to manipulate the system into their own interest. I don't know why I struggle with manipulation as a word. But among that, where are the safe zones? How is this, are you always going to be under threat? Is this going to be a game that causes more stress than anything else? I don't know. Personally, again, really interested. And the more I read about this, the more I looked up what it was, the more excited I became about it overall. They say that you're going to have player housing, and that's one of the things that comes with the pre-order. You can actually get kind of a house pet with that. And I'm going to go into what all comes with both versions here more in a second. But I just wanted to say that, yeah, player housing. For those of you who really enjoy that kind of content, it looks like they're going to have that addressed. And that unlocks at level 20 in the game. So We're going to have to see how that plays out. Personally, I love having a house in Final Fantasy XIV, but it wasn't my be-all, end-all. And if they're going to make housing something that you can actually own a piece of land in this game, I'm all in for it. If it's an instance house, it kind of goes against the nature of what at least they're trying to set up to sell as a part of what New World is. Like, the map is giant, it's huge, you have so much going on in the world. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to explore and to hopefully survive together. Okay, so when is this game coming out and how can you get it? Again, don't pre-order. The game is set to release May of 2020 and the beta kicks off in April of 2020 and you get guaranteed beta access with your pre-order. They do plan to support the game with MTX for glamour items, and that's kind of like, okay, well, we've always heard that before. If the game is successful, maybe that will continue and go on. If it's not, maybe that's going to be an issue. So the realist in me says, okay, but like the optimist in me says, great, yes, cosmetic only. Like, that's awesome. If you want to look and have a cute puppy, cool, like whatever, go from there. Anyway, there are two versions of the game. First, you have the deluxe edition, and second, you have the standard edition. So with both, when you pre-order, you're going to get the closed beta access. You're going to get access on, for April 20th. With your pre-order, you're going to get Isabel's Emblem. This is going to give you additional constitution to weather attacks and deal additional damage against certain type of supernatural enemies. So it doesn't seem like it has a PvP style effect. You're going to get a unique title, Expedition 1, which is going to show you that as you're the initial wave of explorers to hit Eternum Shores. You're also going to get a unique moat, the Fist Bump emote, and you're going to get a Guild Crest set, allow you to kind of featuring axes, muskets, and armor. Okay, cool. Pre-orders. Now, the Deluxe Edition comes with, like, obviously those are the pre-order things. So the Deluxe Edition is going to come with a Woodsman armor skin, a Woodsman boarding axe skin, a Mastiff house pad, a Rock, Paper, Scissors emote set, and a New World digital art book. So that's how they're pricing it. The deluxe edition is $50 and the standard edition is $40, and this is going to be played over on Steam. So that's kind of, I know Amazon was in talks of kind of launching their own cloud-based service, and that's where I want to be interested to see if New World comes to other platforms at any other point besides PC, but it's going to be an interesting year to see how sandbox MMOs stack up in 2020. Lastly, I want to say the island has many mysteries to uncover. When you see the trailer as it plays out, these lands have been around for a long time. This power Azoth has the power to wield life, but yet it can also maybe twist it both for good or for evil, and thus, I guess, having a big draw. I think the draw here, and you listen to the song, like, do you want to live forever? That's what this island, I guess, is a promise. Everlasting life. It's such a unique, interesting thing, but the problem ultimately with everlasting life, especially in a fallen world, you literally have, no matter what, will end up being corrupted in the long run. And maybe that's what this is about. The longer you live, the more evil you become. Maybe there's some interesting story beats here that we get to explore together and more. Anyway, guys, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe to the channel. And, for more our MMORPG news, we love these kind of games. We love talking to people and getting their opinions about it. New World is going to be something interesting, and I hope that it's a success. I always root for games to succeed, and that's where this is going to go. If there's any other MMOs you want us to check out, let us know in the comments below. We play a lot of WoW, Final Fantasy, and occasionally I dabble in Guild Wars 2 from time to time, but that's not to say that we can't go and try out more and let you guys know our thoughts on them. And finally, again, if you watched this video up to this point, thank you so much. Be sure to check out our Ginger Prime channel and our Casually Hardcore Podcast Highlights channel. Links will be in the description below. I hope you go check out those channels and subscribe there as well for even more video game content and more. I do appreciate you guys for watching this video, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in my next. But until then, I hope you have a great week and take care.